A very warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure to have you join us again on Almond Finance and Wealth Reports this week. As you know, your source for latest happening information in the financial sector of the nation's economy. My name is Faith Ugwadi. On this edition of the program, we'll kick off by bringing you a continuation of our exclusive interview with Mr. Wale Oshin, a past chairman of the Nigerian Insurers Association, NIA, and also the managing director and chief executive officer of Custodian and Allied Insurance, PLC. In focus will be challenges and opportunities in the Nigerian insurance industry. On Insurance 101 this week, we'll bring you a report on passenger and passenger legal liability insurance, which comes under aviation insurance. Plus, we also bring you highlights of the birthday dinner put together recently by the Nigerian Insurers Association in honor of Professor Joe Iruko, SAN, who recently turned 80. As expected, tribute poured in for Professor Joe Iruko, who is an insurance icon. For those who may not know, Professor Joe Iruko happens to be the very first professor of insurance and insurance law in Nigeria. These are more what we have for you on the lineup this week, so I urge you as always to sit back, relax, and spend this time with us. But all the details are coming to you after this commercial break. Please stay with us.
Life is a journey full of twists, turns, and stress. Tomorrow may be uncertain. Take insurance today and be secure.
Yes, an insurance cover is all you need to secure a better tomorrow. Your business, personal life, child education, motor vehicle, and properties all need insurance. Visit an insurance company or broker today and get your insurance cover. Insurance guarantees peace of mind. A message from the Nigerian Insurers Association, NIA.
Take insurance today and be secure.
Okay, so Mr. Oshin, to what extent would you say that you've gone in terms of educating even the law enforcement people as far as fake insurance papers is concerned? I say this because sometimes you even find that some of these law enforcement agents that stay on the road to check some of these papers, they don't even know. Some of them are not able to determine the one that's a genuine insurance company that's still existing and the one that's packed up. So what level of commitment has the NIA gotten with law enforcement agents?
Well, I know the NIA has interacted with law enforcement agencies, the police, the road safety corps, and we've even given them telephone sets in the Southwest. I know there have been pilot programs, where they could instantly cross-check whether an insurance company is in existence and whether the paper that the the vehicle is carrying is genuine. So these are steps that the NIA have taken. I know it's still a far way off, but it's work in progress, like I said earlier on. But there is continuous engagement with law enforcement agents, to have them appreciate exactly what we're trying to achieve and the reality on ground about the fake papers.
Okay, moving on to what, in your view, is the way forward for the insurance industry? It's not easy. As you said at the beginning, insurance is people don't wake up one morning and say, I want to go and buy insurance, as you said. So for a sector that is very key to the economy, what do you think is the way forward for the industry?
Well, I think the way forward for the industry is, we've talked about awareness. I think that is important. We need to continuously keep it in the minds of people, the benefits of insurance, to let them know the benefits of insurance. We need to let them understand that insurance is an economic device that brings you back to the state where you are prior to a loss. We need to let them understand that putting in place insurance you can actually take up a life policy and write a will on the day that you take up the life policy. You can be a millionaire, you can be a billionaire in death. You may not be a billionaire or a millionaire here on earth, but in death, you are one, and you can write a will against it. And these are devices and mechanisms that are peculiar to this business, that those that understand it have been able to capitalize on it in terms of wealth creation, in terms of wealth preservation. It has really been an age-long practice that people have used. You don't need to have too much money to write a will. All you need to have is enough money for your premium, and you can immediately write your will. I think this is instructive, and it's also important for people to know that you cannot buy or build an expensive house and you just leave it, because fire is real, floods are real, these things do happen, you know, and we see them happen every day. So it's better you set aside fixed amount of monies on a continuous basis to buy insurance, so that on that rainy day, insurance will come into play.
Okay, so I just want to take you a little bit out of what's we've said. Now the industry is also, there's been an increased push for micro insurance.
Mm-hmm.
To what extent do you think that would also help penetration in the country?
It will certainly help. Maybe that is an area that I omitted the first time around. It will certainly help because there is what you call the underserved segment of the market, you know, that we keep overlooking. And that is where the volume is. It may be small, you know, but the reality is that, and typically again, the sector is, they're usually loyal. They belong to associations of market women, associations of farmers, associations of mechanics and motorcycle repairers, and so on and so forth. There are small contributions, all add up. These are people that hitherto were not doing any form of insurance because nobody was looking in their way, and they probably felt that they were unprofitable in terms of it was too expensive to put them together. So with the new guidelines that the regulator has put in place now and the new drive for microinsurance, I want to believe that this will certainly further deepen insurance penetration and awareness, especially into the interlands, not necessarily only in the cities, because you don't find the farmers in the cities than the interlands. So it would definitely help.
Okay, speaking about regulation, how would you describe the various regulatory initiatives by the National Insurance Commission?
Well, I think the regulator has done a great job thus far. Nothing good comes easy. And I think that is the attitude that some of us have, you know, had, you know, over the last couple of years since the regulator has stepped up his regulatory activities. We believe that at the end of the day, it's going to be for the good of the industry and in the interest of the industry. But I'm not going to be one of those that will tell you we're going through good times. But we also appreciate the fact that, like I said, nothing good comes easy. There will be pain, there will be sacrifices, because, you know, structures are being put in place. New structures are being put in place, new foundations are being put in place. It's not going to be easy. And I'm not going to be one of those that will tell you it's all rosy. It's not all rosy, but it's for the overall good of the industry.
Okay, finally, sir, the recent rebasing of the economy, as somebody said, actually exposed your industry to the generality of Nigeria in terms of the sector's contribution to the GDP. Now, what lessons have you learned as an industry as far as your contribution is concerned?
Well, if I go into this area, I have a controversial or realistic approach to it. My numbers are different from the numbers that you are probably working on. And I'll explain why to you. Okay. The biggest contributors to the GDP are a fallout of insurance. Today, the pension business contributes 4.3 trillion into the Nigerian economy. It's insurance. They took the pension business out of us. So it won't be fair to be talking about insurance and not talk about pension. In other countries that we compare penetration to, like South Africa and all these places, pension is part of insurance. Health insurance is part of insurance. It's a big, big aspect of the contribution to the GDP. So if we are going to contribute, if we're going to calculate the contribution of insurance to the GDP, I'm not going to stop at pure insurance as we are seeing it under NICOM alone. I'm going to take insurance as regulated by NICOM, pension as regulated by PENCOM, health as regulated by the Nigerian Health Regulator. And when we aggregate all of them together, that is the contribution of insurance to the GDP. Yes, that's the way I see it. Because maybe not 20 years ago, let's say 30, 35 years ago, all those components were a part of insurance. And day in, day out, some regulation or some law comes and excises it from the core insurance area, and they call it something else. So I think it's food for thought.
Passenger and passenger legal liability insurance. This insurance typically comes under aviation insurance. The legal liability insurance cover is effected by an air operator or airline to protect itself against any sum or sums which they would be liable to pay in respect of any accidental bodily injury, death, or loss of baggage to any person being a passenger and holding a ticket of the airline. These liabilities applies when the person is entering into, is being carried in, or is alighting from the aircraft. The insurer insurance company indemnifies the insured airline against all sums he is legally liable to pay, whether according to international law or local legislation, subject to a maximum limit of liability agreed at inception of the policy between the insured and the insurer. Standard exclusions of this policy include the crew, which are normally covered under a separate policy known as crew personal accident. Crew personal accident. This policy provides capital sum in the event of death. The policy provides indemnity for the air operator's crew, example, pilots, air hostesses. The policy covers members of the crew against death, permanent disability, temporary total disability resulting from an accident whilst on board the flight. Death by illness is not covered. Third-party legal liability. This is effected by an aircraft operator to indemnify himself against all sums the insured would become legally liable to pay in respect of accidental injury, death, or accidental damage to third parties or to the public caused directly by the aircraft or falling of object therefrom. The limit of liability is usually agreed at inception of the policy. Various countries have set minimum limits for aircraft that would overfly their airspace. This type of insurance is sometimes referred to as public legal liability insurance. The aviation industry is governed by conventions. The NCAA Act 2006 prescribed a minimum legal liability of $100,000 per passenger on the domestic route. Prior to this act, the limit was $10,000 per passenger on the domestic route. The minimum combined single liability for insurance (CSL) for domestic operation only is specified based on aircraft maximum takeoff weight, number of passenger, seating capacity, baggage, and third-party limits.
All right, welcome back. Moving ahead. Recently, the Nigerian Insurers Association, NIA, put together a birthday dinner in honor of Professor Joe Iruko, SAN, who recently turned 80 at the Villa Medici, Victoria Island here in Lagos. As expected, tributes poured in from chief executive officers of insurance companies and other stakeholders for this insurance icon. For those who may not know, Professor Joe Iruko happens to be Nigeria's first professor of insurance and insurance law. Speaking during his welcome address, the current chairman of the NIA, Mr. G.U.S. Wigo, said that without the contributions of Professor Iruko and others, they would not have an NIA to call their own today.
The Nigerian Insurers Association, NIA, recently organized a birthday dinner in honor of Professor Joe Iruko, who recently turned 80. The birthday dinner, which was well attended by friends and chief executives of the insurance companies, provided a platform for operators to express their gratitude to Professor Iruko, who many describe as a quintessential leader. Professor Joe Iruko is Nigeria's first professor of insurance and insurance law, as well as a leading African authority on corporate governance and risk management. Given his opening remarks, the chairman of the occasion, General Theophilus Danjuma retired, stated that Professor Iruko is not just a great insurance man, but a great Nigerian.
Professor Iruko has been a personal friend of mine now for I think nearly 40 years. And as you know, he's a great man, a great Nigerian who has given a lot of service to our nation, not just in the insurance industry, but in the political side of Nigeria's history.
Professor Iruko has contributed so much to the growth and development of the insurance industry, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa. He was the pioneer managing director of Nigeria Reinsurance Corporation and the founding president of the Professional Reinsurers Association. Welcoming guests to the dinner, the chief host, Chairman, Nigeria Insurers Association, Mr. G.U.S. Wigo, said that without the contributions of the guest of honor and others after him, they will not have an association to call their own today.
Without the contribution of Prof and many others after him, we would probably not have an association to call our own. It may interest you to know that Professor Iruko was the fourth chairman of the NIA from 1981 to 1983. The foundation he laid with other founding fathers gives us the strength to stand here before you today.
Professor Iruku means many things to many people within and outside the insurance industry. A former President General of the Ohaneze Ndibu, Professor Iruku is an accomplished author with over 19 published books on various aspects of insurance. Leading the pack of the goodwill message was the president of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, Mr. Ayodakpo Shoderu.
We are here to celebrate an international icon, a man that we all recognize as being one of the greatest insurance practitioners as well as a lawyer that we ever had in this country. I wish you happy birthday, sir.
On behalf of the members of the Council of the Chartered Insurance of Nigeria and all professional members of the Institute, congratulate one of our past presidents of the Chartered Insurance of Nigeria, Professor J.O. Iruku. The chairman of NIA has described him as somebody who is different to many people. And I know if all of us have been given a microphone, we'll have one good thing or the other to say about Professor Iruku.
When I look at the various professions which Professor Iruku belonged to, I think two are very dear to him: insurance and law. And it is this association that combines the two together in the life of our dear guest of today. That's Nigerian Insurance Law Association. Professor Iruku is known for certain virtues. One, always standing for the truth. Two, objectivity in the analysis of issues. Three, professionalism. And very importantly, a well-sanitized society where corruption is exposed.
Professor Iruku's books and works are today a good reference point for practitioners and researchers on insurance. The Director General of the Nigerian Insurers Association, NIA, Mr. O.S. Thomas, read the citation of the guest of honor.
In 1990, at the International Insurance Conference in Paris, France, he became the first African to receive the John S. Bickley Gold Medal for Excellence, which is the highest award for an individual in the world of insurance and risk management.
Responding, Professor Iruku thanks the NIA, friends and well-wishers for honoring him.
I am handicapped by the joy of being in your presence today. I'm delighted to be part of you. As far as I'm concerned, all of you happen to be members of my family. And I thank you for this gesture. The chairman of NIA took me by surprise. He decided to give me this prize whilst I was eating. And for that reason, I'll just say thank you very much.
Professor Iruku's contributions in ensuring a sound, viable, respected, and noble insurance profession is unmatched. As he begins another phase in his life, this generation of insurance practitioners and those coming after will forever see his indelible footprints in the sands of time.
I want you by my side, in my head.
All right, that's the time on this edition of the program. I do hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I always say here, for comments, questions, observations, do feel free to get in touch with us on 017763981 or 08033357879, or better still, send us an email, almond4xx@yahoo.com or almondproduction@gmail.com. You can also visit us on our website, www.almondreports.com. Like us on our Facebook page, Almond Finance and Wealth Reports, and view past episodes of this program on our YouTube channel, Almond Reports TV. Join us every Wednesday by 9:45 a.m. live on Niger FM 102.7 if you can, for our Pidgin English program called Waiting Insurance They Do Save. I also suggest you keep your diary open for 29th of October for the 2014 Insurance Consumers Forum coming up at the Rapid Hall Lagoon Restaurant, Victoria Island here in Lagos. We'll be commencing at 10 a.m. My name is Faith Ugwode. Until same time, same station next week, we'll come your way with a fresh package of this program from all of us here. It's goodbye.